Welcome, everyone. Welcome. I am Manisha Melwani. For those of you who don't know me, I am a student. I've been studying the wisdom of Vedanta for about 25 years, and I will be sharing what I have learned, like I have been doing these last couple of decades. I share my learning through my writings, my teaching people through classes, workshops, courses, events such as this. And I like to make spiritual wisdom simple and practical so that we can all apply it and gain greater clarity and fulfillment in life. Today, the topic is cultivating a peaceful mind. Spiritual tools for calm and resilience. Now, we might wonder, what is this peace? We want a peaceful mind, but where is this peace? And what is this peace? Peace is actually happiness. If you think about it, you cannot say that I'm happy, but I'm not at peace. Or I'm peaceful, but I'm not happy. It's synonymous. When you are peaceful, you're happy. So what we are actually searching is peace, which is happiness, and happiness is my true nature, our true nature. This is who we really are. We are not the personalities that are interacting with each other now. We are spiritual beings, having a human body and experience and personality. So today, talking about peace, what's important to understand is that peace is not something that we can bring in from the outer world. We think we can bring in that peace or that joy or what we may call even happiness by acquiring things outside, by indulging in things, or by rearranging the outer world. But we find that even though that does bring us satisfaction, it's not really 100% what we are seeking, because we end up depending on the outer world for our inner state of peace and happiness. So what we are learning is that peace is something that is actually already here within us, but it's being covered by disturbances, agitations of the mind. Think about it. Say, let's give you an example. Say you are a teacher in a nursery daycare, for example, and you have these little children, 3 and 4, and they're running around, making lots of noise, screaming, shouting, throwing toys, or being active. And now it's time for them to settle down and maybe take a nap for the afternoon because they're in daycare. So what do? You can't bring silence into the room. You're going to ask them to become quiet, right? So you'll tell them, okay, time to put away your toys, time to sit on your seats, or maybe go to, the place that they will lie down. And so they are doing things that will reduce the disturbances. They are being quiet. They're going to a special place and they are not talking to each other. They are not playing with each other. So when the disturbances die down, silence comes up. When silence comes, it was already there. It was just being covered by the disturbances. It's the same for peace of mind. So today, when we are going to get into the topics of the seminar, we're going to look at ways to reduce the disturbances in our mind, because the peace that is already there is going to show up when we do that. All right, so I'd like to share the screen now. And by the way, I didn't say thank you for attending. And those of you who are already here and have been here for a few minutes, even before the start of time, I'm really grateful that you are here. So I'll share the screen now. Cultivating. Let me make sure I'll put myself on. Oh, can you see the shared screen now? You can? Okay. Let me, you know what? Please forgive me. Let me just put myself on. I'll start again. I'll share the screen again. No, it's not happening. Stop share. 1 second. Yes, your question is, will I be sharing the PowerPoint? Yes, I will. But let me see why I'm not able to share. Let me try again. Okay. Now you can see me? Yes, okay. And I wonder if okay, here we go. All right. The topic for today is cultivating a peaceful mind. So this is what we are going to be focusing on today. The first thing is how chanting Om can help quiet mental chatter and support meditation. The second thing is 2 daily spiritual practices that can uplift and steady the mind. The third is a simple affirmation for greater peace of mind. And the fourth is how a spiritual perspective can help navigate challenging relationships with greater peace and understanding. So this is our agenda for today. Let's get started. First of all, what is Om? For those of you who are not familiar, this symbol is this image that you see is the Sanskrit script that is Om. This is how Om is written in Sanskrit. So what is Om? Om is the sacred symbol and the name of the divine, the underlying truth or reality of all creation. So it's a divine name. It has divine vibrations. And so chanting Om helps to invoke a sense of the divine. The vibrations have a calming effect on the physical, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual levels of the personality. Now, what are these 3 sounds of Om? Om is actually made up of 3 sounds, and we'll explain them now. In Sanskrit, the vowel O is formed by combining the sounds A and U. So even now, as you stay muted, you might try it. Ow, ow, oh. So ow becomes O. So it's a vowel that is formed by these 2 sounds. And so Om can be understood as 3 sounds. 3 sounds, a combination of 3 sounds. A, U, and M. When we pronounce them together, the letters A, U, and M make the sound Om. That's simple, right? That's how Om has 3 sounds. And that is why Om is sometimes written in English as A, U, and M. So don't get confused. If you see OM or you see AUM, it means the same thing. Now, how is this sound produced? This is important because we want to understand the significance of Om. You can try this if you're staying muted. Just try this. If you open your mouth slightly and you make a sound, just any sound without changing the structure of your mouth in any way, just allow the air to come out. It will be ah. There'll be ah. So ah will be the sound that you make. It arises from the root of the tongue at the back. So when you don't put in any effort, you just make a sound, ah is the sound that is produced. When you take that ah sound and you sustain it and you bring it forward into the mouth, it results in oo. So let's try it. You go ah. Ow. So you've brought it into the mouth. And to complete the sound, your sound ends by putting the lips together and producing the mm. So the same sound that started with ah ends with mm. So it goes ah. All right. So this is how we can pronounce om. We don't have to actually pronounce the ah separate because the sound om on its own includes the ah and the u. All right. If you have any questions or any thoughts, you can just type it into the chat. We'll have a question and answer maybe by about, I shouldn't say the time because we are coming from different parts of the world. So maybe in about 20-25 minutes. What is the deepest significance of Om? The sounds A, U, and M represent the emergence, sustenance, and dissolution of all sound. So look at this top bullet point. I'm sorry, the last one has come a little earlier. How does this A, U, and M represent the emergence and sustenance, dissolution of all sound? We just did that, right? We brought the R sound, made it into U, and then closed the lips, and it became M. So it represents all the sounds that our human voice can make. Whether you are speaking English or any other language, the sounds of the language that we speak can only be made from the back of the mouth, at the root of the tongue, within the mouth, or when we close the lips. So the sound of Om encompasses all possible sounds. And why is this important? Because in the same way, Om symbolizes the emergence, sustenance, and dissolution of the entire universe. And the silence before and after Om represents the unchanging reality from which the universe emerges, in which it is sustained, and into which it ultimately returns. So what is this silence? So for example, before you say something, there is silence. When you finish saying something, there is silence. So silence supports the emergence of the sound. And silence, even though we never think about it, silence actually sustains the sound. It's underlying it. Because if I say something halfway, so say, for example, half, and I stop and I don't say the second part, I say halfway, I just say half. When I stop, you hear silence. So silence is there before and after the Om. Okay, so it represents the unchanging reality from which the universe emerges in which it is sustained, and into which it ultimately returns. So it is the source. It is thus, Om is a symbol of the entire universe and its unchanging source. Why the entire universe? Because it's all sound. All sound refers to all creation. Creation comes into being, it emerges. Creation is sustained, and creation dissolves at the end of a creation cycle. According to the spiritual texts, creation dissolves into nothingness and then manifests again. So this emerging, sustaining, and dissolution comes from Om, or the underlying reality, which is symbolized by the silence when we think about sound. So it's a very profound meaning. There is a lot more to speak about this Om, but for today, we'll leave it as that, and we'll continue to the benefits of chanting Om, because the topic is cultivating a peaceful mind. How does Om help us? It slows the breathing rate, encouraging relaxation. It activates the parasympathetic rest and digest nervous system. We have two um, main systems. One is the parasympathetic, which is the rest and digest, as is mentioned here. And the other one is the sympathetic system. The sympathetic is the fight, flight, the active, when your brain is active and you're constantly doing something. Or you're meeting a challenge. So that's when your sympathetic nervous system comes into action. But we want to relax. So we want to activate the parasympathetic. And one of the ways of doing this is by chanting Om. Thereby, it helps to reduce stress and anxiety. And as regular chanting of Om helps to cultivate a peaceful, focused, and contemplative mind. So this is why we are chanting it. Now, I don't want you to take my word for it. What I'd like to do is for us to take 3 minutes, just 3 minutes, to chant the practice of chanting Om. Now, here are some simple instructions for this practice. I'd like you to please keep your spine erect. Keep your feet flat on the ground. You can close your eyes. And you want to deep breathe. Your breath must be slow and deep. Slow and deep. So you slow down your breathing. And then when you're ready to begin, you will take a breath in, a slow breath in. And when you exhale, you will chant Om. At the end of your chant, you will stay silent. Don't rush to breathe in quickly and chant it again. There is no need to rush. This is a calming practice. So we want to breathe slowly and deeply, keep your spine erect. And I'm going to set a timer for 3 minutes, just 3 minutes. And I'm also going to be chanting Om. Each one of us will be chanting at their own pace, at your own capacity. You don't have to follow me. I'm just demonstrating it. And you can chant along and you will see at the end of it how you feel after just 3 minutes of chanting Om. And we'll start now. Afterwards, when it ends, you will hear a little twinkle sound. All right. So I'll start the 3 minutes now. Sit straight and still. And let's begin. Let's take a breath in and at your own pace. You can follow me if you like, or better, don't follow me. Follow at your own pace. Om. Om.
You can stop chanting now. Now, I'd like to ask, you can type it in the chat, what your reactions were. Did you find it useful? What did you feel when you chanted the Om? Just 3 minutes of Om. How did you feel? Let's see. Maybe is there anyone who would like to share? Okay, yes. Someone says, let me see. Oh, relaxed. It created a sense of calm and stillness. Yes. Peaceful, deeply peaceful. No thoughts, but the vibration of the sound felt through. So just 3 minutes. Just 3 minutes. Think about that. If we want to cultivate a peaceful mind, we just need to calm ourselves down, sit in a quiet place, and chant Om. Set your timer like I chanted for 3 minutes. And what you will find is your mind will become calm. One of the biggest reasons why this happens is because Om is the symbol of the divine. So when we chant it, it invokes the divine. And so this is one very, very good and important practice that you can incorporate into your life to bring in a peaceful mind. Now, let's look at the second thing that we can do. 2 daily spiritual practices. Number 1, start your day with a spiritual practice. Read a passage from a spiritual text or a religious text. Reflect on what you've read. You can chant Om and meditate. If these are just examples, but this is basically starting your day off right. Many times, we start our day with our usual routine of tea and coffee or something like that. But before we do anything, it would be so nice if we could, wash up, have a shower, sit and read a passage from something spiritual or religious. And the most important thing is not just reading it, but reflecting on it. When we wake up, the mind is very receptive and calm because we've had a good rest. Hopefully, we've had a good rest at the night time. So when we wake up and our mind is fresh, and we reflect on something spiritual or religious, it influences our inner state of mind. And we become stronger and more resilient. We won't be rushing to allow the outer world into our mind because we've inspired it with this at the start of the day with this daily practice of starting the day right. And as we saw just now, you could chant Om, you could meditate. So these are suggestions of what you can do in the morning. The second spiritual practice is end your day with a spiritual practice. What do you do at the end? You reflect on your day. You read a passage again from a spiritual or religious text, and you can chant Om.
Actually, chanting Om before you go to sleep is a great way to calm the mind, especially if you put a focus on the sound, the M, the humming almost sound. What this does is it vibrates the hypothalamus, and that helps to calm the nervous system. And so when you are able to do chant Om at night, you will find that you'll fall asleep much easier and you'll stay asleep much easier. Those are the two spiritual practices. Now, here are two tips. Avoid electronic devices for the first hour after waking and the last hour before going to bed. This is so very important. You know, I was reading something recently and it said that most people wake up and reach for their phones within 15 minutes of waking up. Imagine that you've got such a nice, quiet, receptive mind, and here you are opening it up to receiving anything and everything from the world outside. You don't know what you're going to see on your phone, whether you're looking at messages, who has messaged you, what message comes through, or if you go onto social media or the news or YouTube or whatever it might be that you are going on. You are allowing the outer world to encroach and disturb that precious peace. That 1 hour after you wake up is so precious. Spend it wisely. Spend it in participating in something spiritual. So I hope you will do that. It's quite hard, I know, for a lot of people. And so if you want to be able to give yourself that 1 hour, you might want to start maybe with 30 minutes. And then maybe you can you can start to wake up 30 minutes earlier, for example, or 20 minutes earlier. And as you give yourself more time, then you're not rushing into your day. You're giving yourself time for your spiritual practice. And the same thing at night. When you are ready for bed, an hour before, if you put away all your distractions, you'll be more quiet. You'll be preparing yourself for going to bed with your, brushing your teeth, changing into your pajamas, and so on. And when you sit in bed and you read something spiritual, you chant, or you reflect on your day, you are calming your mind. You're preparing it for a restful sleep. And this actually builds resilience in your mind. So do take these practices and think of this word. Bookend your day with spirituality and quietude. So think of it as bookending your day. Start your day, end your day. So this is the second tip for cultivating a peaceful mind. Next is an affirmation for greater peace. It's so simple. You'll be saying, what is this, But it's very powerful if you practice it, and here it is. I choose peace. That's it. I choose peace. I can't attribute this to myself. I did not come up with this. I actually read it from a book by Wayne Dyer, Dr. Wayne Dyer, those of you who might know him. He says, choose peace in all situations and circumstances. Choose peace. And peace is a choice. Remember, disturbances is something that you add. When you don't allow them into your mind, you're choosing peace. So say, for example, you're driving and someone has abruptly cut into your lane. What do? Do you get angry, or do you calm yourself and say, I choose peace? If someone is being rude to you, unnecessarily, unwarranted, what do? Do you retaliate again in anger and irritation, or tell yourself, I choose peace? If someone didn't acknowledge that you did good work at your workplace, I choose peace. It doesn't matter. There are so many little situations in life that we unnecessarily allow to disturb our mind. So here's another something for you to remember when you're choosing peace. Ask yourself, will this matter? Tomorrow? Will it matter? Will it matter next week? Maybe if someone hurt you, maybe you might hold it longer. But next month? 6 months? A year? 5 years? Would you even remember, on this date I was driving along and someone cut into my lane and I was angry? It seems so silly to even speak like that. When you ask, will it matter? It puts things into perspective because you've chosen peace. Peace is something you choose. You are choosing to not allow disturbances into your mind. You are choosing to not allow the outer world to encroach on you and to disturb your inner peace. And you have to start practicing with small things. If you start practicing it with small things, you will find that it will be something that you can apply for the bigger things in life. And as you cultivate a greater peace within you, many things will be dropped and you will start to respond to life versus react to life. And you will find that you're able to remain equanimous better, not all the time. We're always learning and growing. Of course, we'll slip and fall, but how quickly do we recover from that? So this idea of equanimity, I'll go back to the peace slide, is something that is a symptom or a sign, we should say it's a sign of our inner maturity. Think about it. When you choose peace, it is a sign of your inner maturity. I cannot make anyone grow up but myself. I grow up by choosing my responses. So I hope you enjoyed that. That was the third tip. Now the fourth aspect that we are going to cover today is a spiritual perspective on relationships. And we all know that relationships bring us the greatest challenges. And they are like mirrors. Relationships are like mirrors that show us what's inside of us. We don't normally think of it in this way because if someone's acting in a way that you don't like, you blame that person for his behavior. But from a spiritual perspective, we understand that relationships are like a mirror. What's happening outside is actually a reflection of what's happening inside of me here. And I'll explain with an example soon. Now here, this is to explain this mirror idea. It says, if someone makes you angry or irritated, it's because there is anger and irritation in you. If you feel joy in someone's company, it's because she's bringing out the joy inside of you. What comes out of you is what you have inside of you, right? If you have anger and irritation, that's what's going to come out. If that person cuts into your lane and you have anger in you, it'll come out. But if you have cultivated more peace in your life, it will not come out. You'll distract your mind with something. You might listen to something on the radio. You might chant a mantra. You might take your mind to a happier place. So what shows up in the outer world, whether it is in the outer world or in a person who is in my life, is a mirror to me. This is a spiritual perspective of life. Now, relationships are sacred. And I'm going to share something that many of you may have heard before, that relationships reveal what lies hidden within us. And this is a little story. So there is a woman and her husband who are attending a party at someone's house. There's a lot of people, and she's standing there with a cup of tea. He sees her and he approaches her. And while he's approaching her, he happens to trip over a bump in the carpet. And he hits her on the shoulder. Her body shakes and the tea spills on her clothes. And she gets really angry. And she goes, "You're so clumsy. Look at what you made me do. You made me spill my tea." Now, ordinarily, if we think like that, we'll say, well, why did she spill her tea? Because she was holding it, but it spilled because he bumped into her. But really speaking, it doesn't matter what she spilled. If she was holding tea, if she was holding coffee, or if she was holding a juice or a mocktail, whatever drink she was holding, that's what is going to spill on her. This is a metaphor for what we are holding within us. It doesn't matter what others do. It doesn't matter what happens outside. On the spiritual path, what's important to understand is, how am I being when this is happening? What is coming out of me in this situation? What is coming out of me with this person? And this is why they are sacred. They are sacred. Relationships are sacred because they help us evolve. If I didn't have these people or situations that are pushing my buttons or annoying me, irritating me, I won't know what's inside. I won't be tested. I won't understand what's inside of me. So that is why our relationships are very important mirrors for what lies within ourselves. The key to transforming relationships is changing ourselves. Lasting transformation begins with changing ourselves. You know, we don't normally think that way. We think that we need two people to change a relationship. But from my own personal experience, I can tell you that you don't need to go to the other person and do anything really. If you're sincere and you're open and honest with yourself, you sit in a quiet place. Maybe you have a sacred space, your altar, your prayer room, and you want to learn about yourself. Why am I always getting mad at this person? Why is this person always annoying me? What is he or she showing inside of me? What is it that I have to heal within myself? You know, if we love someone, there is no fault finding. I think there is a quote attributed to Mother Teresa, which says, faults grow thick when love grows thin. Faults grow thick when love grows thin. So when our love is lacking, we find fault with everyone. So what we are trying to do is to transform ourselves. When we transform ourselves, our relationships, especially with the people in our lives, closest in our lives, will start to change. Now, this change must be sincere, not half-hearted, not reflected. It has to be reflected in our thoughts, feelings, and our actions. So we don't just say, "Oh, I love you, honey," or "No, I don't mind this." You know, we're not just saying it. We're actually feeling it and thinking it because we have spent time in introspection. We have spent time in understanding what is inside of us and how we can transform that. Because if we start doing that, look at this. Although we cannot control how others respond, our own transformation often changes the relationship for the better. And this, I'm telling you from the bottom of my heart, it works. It works. At an earlier stage, we may blame others because of this, because of that. How can I forgive this person for what he or she did? And, but the point is, we need to choose peace. how long will you be holding on to that grudge or that pain? How many years will it matter? How long will you allow that to decompose, putrefy, and damage your own inner peace? You know, my guru, Swami Chinmayananda, he has a quote, if I remember correctly. It says, anger is to revenge the faults of others on ourselves. Others are faulty. Yes, not everyone is perfect. We have to accept that everyone has their faults. I have my faults. We all have faults. But when we get angry, I am revenging. It's backfiring on me. That anger is hurting me. I'm losing my peace of mind. So if I want to transform my relationships, I need to start with me. And again, I have to say that if you can do it with the support of the divine through prayer and sincere, genuine desire to want to solve the relationship, it will resolve. You will be guided in the right way. And if that person no longer is meant to teach you that lesson that he was there for, that person may not be in your life anymore. You may move away, you may separate, whatever it might be. But until, you might have noticed, this is funny, there might be a family which is scattered all over the world, and everyone has a good relationship except the one family, or the one sibling, or the one uncle, or the aunt, or the brother-in-law, the sister-in-law, whatever, right? Who is so annoying, who is really hard to get along with. That family, that person will be in your life, in your face, close to you, living next to you, in your same country, next door to you, working with you, in your same social circles all the time. Why does this happen? Have you noticed that happening? If you have, just type it in the chat. This is because we are here to evolve. That's the main purpose of our relationships. We have to see them as opportunities. They become opportunities for self-discovery. And when we do that, they become catalysts for our spiritual growth. At the end of the day, remember, it's all about me and how I am while I'm meeting the challenges of daily life. Others will always bring challenges, always bring difficulties, but how am I? What have I become? So if you look at it that way, then those relationships become opportunities. So let's do a quick recap on today's takeaways. The first is to chant Om to uplift, calm, and focus your mind. When your mind is calm and uplifted, you are able to focus better. Bookend your day with spirituality and quietude. Start your day with something spiritual, end your day with something spiritual. Always choose peace. And if you feel it doesn't deserve it, put it into a larger perspective and say, does it matter? Will it matter? And keep extending the timeline. And the last thing to remember is that relationships are opportunities for self-discovery and inner transformation. I wish you a peaceful, clear, and joyful mind. And now we can get into the Q&A session. If you have any questions, please. Ritu, are there questions? If you have any questions, please type it. Or let me see.
Please type in the questions if you have. I request all the participants.
Right. Okay, great. Thank you. What I'd like to also mention is that I will be sharing this presentation with you by email. You've registered through Luma, and I have your email. So this is something that I will be sharing with you. If you have any questions or if you have any thoughts you want to share, if you haven't typed it in, you can unmute yourself, or you can, show up your hand and you can ask a question. Is there anyone?
I just want to say that I usually start my day, especially now in the summer, by going out to my backyard into nature and picking up all sorts of things in nature and creating something with it.
Yeah.
It takes about 15 to 20 minutes, but it's very creative and very relaxing.
It's a spiritual practice. You're connecting with nature. Nature is spiritual. Yeah, that's beautiful. Yes, and I saw Bhairavi, you had something to add? Trying to unmute. Sangeeta, maybe you can go first. Hold on.
Hi,
Sangeeta raised her
hi,
hand, and then we'll get back.
sorry. Am I, should
Yeah,
I be asking?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
The sound of the Om which you created, it reminded me a lot of I don't know how many people have heard the sound of the Tibetan healing bowl. Have
Uh,
you heard this?
yeah,
When you circulate and it makes the sound of the Om, is it exactly that sound? So I just wanted to share the
oh,
Tibetan healing bowl has exactly the same sound of
yes.
the Om and the vibration, Om, kind of. So it was just, I wanted to share that with everyone.
Thank you. And we all can create that sound. Yes, Umang.
Yes, what I was wondering, sometimes I um, end the day by having Om chanting, but I listen to it. I listen to it with my AirPods and so on. I don't know if that's a good practice because there are some Om chanting on YouTube that can go on for 8 hours, and I mean I listen to it and I fall asleep, and it keeps on playing all the time. Is that a good practice, or should I stop like after, let's say, half an hour?
Yes.
What is your opinion on that?
Yeah, that's a great question. This when you said yes, you can listen to it for 8 hours and it's playing at the back of your mind. You know what is amazing is that, say, for example, and I can understand, sometimes when you've had a busy day, you don't even have the energy to chant. You just want to listen and stay quiet. So I can understand where you are coming from. It's a good idea to listen, but what I would like to suggest is when you listen, give yourself a certain period of time. It's a beautiful chant for sure, but experiment with this, and you'll find that when you turn it off after a certain period of time, say you give yourself your time, it's up to you to decide how long you need. So, say 15, 20 minutes, whatever you need, 30 minutes, then you turn it off and you go to sleep. And you know what you will find? You will find that the sound that you were listening to will continue in your own mind. You don't need an external electronic device to play it for you. And here you've placed it in your ears. You've got a phone that is connected to Wi Fi and signals. We don't know how it's interfering with our brain. So it's best if we listen and then we can put it aside and remember what I love to share this very important tip. Do not sleep with any electronic devices in the bedroom. Your bedroom, including your TV, computers, phone, iPad, whatever you have, you can listen, you can do whatever you want, and then put it aside. Keep it charging overnight elsewhere in your house. If possible, please do that. If you're traveling, or if you're in a place where you, or your own home, you don't have another place, at least keep it off and charging away from the head of, your head, because we don't know those signals that are coming in, how they are affecting us. So, you yourself will notice if you chant it yourself, those will be the loudest when you, in your subconscious, when you sleep and you wake up, you will wake up with that. You'll wake up with that. Yeah. I hope that answered your question.
What about people who wear watches to monitor their sleep? Those
Yeah.
are electronic devices, aren't they? And a lot of people do that.
You know what? I can't say yes or no to that. I just know I don't do it. But people have their reasons, and let's not go there because I just don't know. I don't like to have anything. In fact, I even knew someone who was so much into the holistic field. She said, don't even wear a watch. And most people wear their watches on their left side. And it is the side of your body that takes in feminine energy from, it's a feminine side, sorry, that takes in energy from the cosmos. And here you have this electronic device that is interrupting and interfering with the energy flow into your system. So, I mean, people either accept it or not, that's up to them, but it's not something I do. Yes, okay, yes, we have Sangeeta, and then I'll look at the chat. I think Bhairavi had some questions. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Sangeeta.
I just wanted to share what Umang said, and what you told Umang. I just recently, maybe a year or half a year ago, I started going to bed with Om Namah Shivaya chanting, because in the mind, when you're going to bed, you have so many thoughts coming to your mind. So I started chanting Om Namah Shivaya just to get rid of those thoughts. And I was so surprised that when I wake up, and I'll fall asleep chanting. So I was so surprised that I wake up, before I wake up, the Om Namah Shivaya chanting is going in my mind. And somebody told me that the brain keeps chanting throughout the night.
Right.
And then I was watching a kind of a scientific some show on YouTube where they were talking about the brain waves and all that, and they mentioned that when you chant and fall asleep, the brain is continuously chanting.
Yes. Yes.
So that's what I just wanted to share, that you really
That's
don't need to play anything.
exactly. And your own voice has its own resonance. Other things you can listen to, but not in the period before you're sleeping. If that's possible, that'll be great. Yeah. Okay, let's look at the chat.
Shalina and Diksha, they both have questions. Shalina, you can ask your question, please.
Okay, Shalina, let's do that.
Shalina.
Hi. Hi. I wrote it on the chat.
Okay.
It was your question with regards to relationships being opportunities. I just wondered if you could, and I know there's not enough time for the sake of time. Why? What are your thoughts on that? Can you expand on that?
There are opportunities to rediscover what is inside of me. Because
Okay.
the spiritual perspective is that the world is a reflection of me. That is the spiritual perspective. That the world is a reflection. It's not separate from me. It's not something that I'm not responsible to a certain extent. So say, for example, let's look at it at an individual level. At an individual level, if I choose peaceful responses, my world, the people around me will be likewise. But you've probably have met people who are so busy, or like how they say, running around like a chicken with its head chopped off. Well, what happens? Their whole day is full of drama. Whole day is full of crises. Whole day they're putting out fires. Because that's their outlook. That's how
Okay.
they are. So how they are is what they are projecting into their world. Someone else who, there might be two people living in a house. One person looks at life differently, another one differently. We all have very different views. We all create a world, our individual world for ourselves. In the same way, my relationships with this person, that person, they are all a reflection of me. It's my little world. Collectively, all of us everywhere in the world, we create this entire world and what we are seeing in it. You might say, well, I don't create all the wars and everything. Yes, we may not be specifically creating wars, but there is a part of us that needs healing. I mean, it's a utopian idea, and I don't know if it'll ever happen, but think about it. If you understand that if I'm peaceful, everything around me is peaceful. And if I take this one idea and every single one of us on this planet, 8 whatever billion people, have the same idea. If I'm peaceful, everything is peaceful. I choose peace. I choose to let go. I don't want it to bother me. Just think about this. The entire 8 billion people choosing peace, will there ever be war? It's
No, no.
it's not
Yeah,
possible.
no.
It's not possible. So
Yeah.
these emotions are within us in the collective field. But what we can do at an individual level is to create peace in my world. When I create peace in my world, that becomes like a light that shines in the world. It's like when the world, like you go into a dark room, but you just need one light. When you turn on one candle, the whole room is illumined. So, in the same way, that light that we shine onto our own lives helps to bring light to the world. This is how we can bring peace to the world. You don't bring peace from outer side. Oh, I'm so disturbed and restless because this is happening, that is happening, so much is. I can choose the peace individually. If we all took responsibility, we will create a better world.
Okay.
Yes, I hope that answers
Thank
your
you.
question. Yeah. All
Thank
right.
you.
Let's see the next question.
Diksha, you have questions, right?
Yes.
Hello, Dikti.
First of all, I share my journey. In morning, I daily do Om chant, and but I have one question, that is, when we do something and talk to something, and we talk to somebody, and that during difficult conversation, how do we create peace? That is my question.
So you're referring to how do we create peace during a difficult conversation with someone?
Yes, yes. Yes, like sometimes we conversation, and sometimes conversation also difficult, and so we need a peace. How to do that in that way?
Right. Another good question. The idea is to practice being peaceful outside of situations so that when situations come, we can choose that peaceful state of mind. So, say, for example, if you have put in a little bit of time in understanding, okay, this is a relationship with this person, every time the same thing happens, you notice that it repeats, right? The same person does the same thing, causes the same reaction. We're constantly in a loop of, programmed behaviors. And I have programmed those behaviors myself. So I have to deprogram the old program and overwrite with a new way. So now, say for example, you have taken some time in the morning or at night to reflect, and you say, okay, I expect to meet this person today. I expect this conversation maybe to show up, to come up. How am I going to be? So you prepare yourself ahead of time because you have psyched yourself up for it. When that difficult conversation comes up, you don't engage in it. If that person says something to spark your anger, choose not to take the bait. Don't sink and also retaliate at the same level. If someone's coming at a lower level, you try not to go down to their level. You see, if you realize that most of the time this sparring occurs because of egos. Ego wants to be right. Ego wants to win. Ego wants to prove that my way is the right way. What I said was right. So what we have, I can tell you from my own experience that you can't change anyone. And the more you are sparring and words and you are trying to be better or right, it's better to be kind. That's another quote I heard recently. When you have a choice to be right or to be kind, be kind. First of all, be kind to yourself. Don't allow your mind to be disturbed. So it is something that we have to understand the dynamics when we are with someone. It's a very difficult thing because it's happened over a long period of time. So it requires us to unwind and shift our perspective. And most importantly, seek God's help in resolving especially very difficult issues, difficult people, difficult questions, unwarranted behaviors. It's something that requires healing and acknowledgement and introspection here within myself. It's hard, I know. But don't spar, don't give in, don't add. Just choose a different response, choose a more peaceful response. Did that help, Diksha?
Yes,
Diksha?
I think it helped it, and thank you so much for mm, giving right answer me. I really need this.
Okay.
Sometimes we confuse related to our talks and situations, but I think this has helped me a lot.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
you're welcome. All right. Who do we have next, Ritu? I know there was some.
Yeah. Janet joined late. Janet, would you like to ask something?
I'm still thinking, but thank you. I will add a question in a bit.
Okay. Ritu, I think Bhairavi had a question. Can you just read it out, please? Or maybe Bhairavi, you want to just say it? You can unmute yourself.
Actually, yeah, thanks for that, Manisha. But I think it was kind of answered in the last question.
Okay.
And I guess it's good because I guess I'm not the only one that has these issues, and I think it's a universal problem, right?
Welcome
Uh,
to the club.
Universal problem. So thank you for that. But yeah, I think it was pretty much covered on the last answer that you gave. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes. And who do we have next, Ritu? Let's see, you're muted, Ritu. Let's look at the chat.
Joyce and Steve. Raj, do you have any questions? Shafali is with us.
No,
Hi,
thank
Shafali.
you.
Okay. All right. So if anyone has questions, you can post it or you can unmute yourself. Were there any other questions in the chat?
No, that's it.
Okay. Okay, that's good. This was from 9 a.m. to 10:15 a.m. our Eastern time, and we're almost to the end of that time. I always value people's time, and I really value and appreciate you all for coming here, taking your time out on a Sunday to spend it with me. And it's something that I'm so grateful for that you are here. If you'd like to stay connected with me, I will be sending out an email with the link to this PowerPoint, so you will have that. And I will be extending an invitation to you to consider staying connected with me for future webinars like this or other events that I hold by logging into my website. It's manishamelwani.com. And there I have articles that you can read in my blog. You can have an understanding of my upcoming events. Then there are talks and videos that I have done. And the website is still building. So if you'd like to stay in touch, please subscribe to my newsletter. You can go to manishamelwani.com. And Ritu, can you just type that in to the chat, and then I will send it also in the email that I send you.
Yes,
All
sure.
okay, great, great, great. Oh, thank you, Rena. Rena, since you mentioned that you learned a few things, is there one thing, one takeaway that you would like to share with us?
Oh, sure. The first was I really enjoyed the idea of the Om chanting as a way to sort of bring peace back, because it's a simple way to start for me in my busy life. And the other one is I liked your response about how to deal with conflicts and difficult people in your life. That really resonated with me.
Okay, great, great. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else wants to share any feedback like that? Any takeaway that you would like to share?
Hi, this is
Yes, ma'am.
Nita.
Today,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
please go ahead. You go first.
Thank you for this session. And like now, people are too busy, their life working, balancing homes, relations, their journey. And I think that is the really need this Om chanting, spiritual. So I love this session, and this is very inspiring. And also, I believe also in inner bloom, inner Shakti. So I really loved it and I enjoyed today's session.
thank you, thank you. And Nita, yes?
Yes, I just wanted to say thank you very much. I think the way you framed how you find inner peace for me was a different way of thinking about it, that it's always there. You just have to remove the noise and the distraction. It was really a different way of thinking about it, as opposed to looking for it. You always have it within you, was a really nice way to think about it. And then
Yes.
also just that how, when there's anger, is how the calmness in you and like how you react to situations is actually a reflection on you and not always necessarily the other person. So if you reflect, if you react calmly, it helps remove the anger, remove those negative feelings. So
Yes.
thank you for that.
Yeah, so glad. Yeah. And we invite agitations into our lives,
Yeah.
through our phones and so on. But yeah, yeah, that's good. I'm glad you also understood and appreciate. That was a big lesson for me when I first learned it too, that peace is already there. I'm the one responsible for bringing in all those agitations, disturbances.
Thank
Yes.
you.
All right. If there's anything else anyone wants to say? Otherwise, it's
And
10:15.
please drop your LinkedIn if you have LinkedIn, and if you have Instagram account, please drop it in chat box.
Yes,
We want to connect you.
yes, yes, yes. All right. Thank
I
you.
have, I've shared the website link
Okay.
and I'll be sharing with everyone LinkedIn and other account.
Okay. All right. Good, good,
Yeah.
good. All right.
And
Thank you. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Ritu.
no, I was just saying if some of you, if you all can switch on your camera, I would like to take a screenshot of this meeting. If
You
it's
know what? Hold on, hold on. Let me pause the recording because not everybody wants to be recorded.